Hello again and good evening to you wherever you may be. I just had a very interesting hour comparing the Advaita state of realization and the inner separation of the Gurdjieff tradition, and I thought I would share it with you. I suppose this would be an advanced or very advanced discussion, but very interesting for me. I have not done a lot of the kind of playing a role in a separation that Gurdjieff teaches. And it is very interesting because what he does is he uses a kind of this observation of your human functions. It's like a kind of pressure against the human functions, and then you are sort of inside, as if you were inside a large machine, the machinery of the human being. It's very interesting because it's very much a state that is in the human world. Like you have a very much when Gurdjieff says something like he says I can't remember the words exactly, but he says, can you not see how totally asleep you are? Well, he is talking with shock, the level of sleep in relation to the human world. As you live, you are absorbed unconsciously in your human functions, and when you separate yourself from them and you maintain it, you have the sense of being inside the contraption of the human vehicle. And you have the interesting thing about that state is that it's very much, it's certainly below the neck. I can feel it very clearly that it's happening, that state is happening underneath the neck, meaning in the torso, and very different from the Advaita state. The Advaita state of consciousness, which took me about, I reckon it took me about 6,000 hours of sitting meditation, very carefully guided by my teacher in retreat conditions. So I'm not talking cheaply. By the way, maybe you're listening on YouTube or Odyssey and you think this is all fun and games. It's not fun and games. These are well-earned states. But the Advaita state, it is the state of I am, of pure conscious recognition. A beautiful state. And in that state there is no world, there is no human being, there is nothing. There is pure I ams. And so it's very different. Gurdjieff is working very close to the human being. He works against the human functions. the I am of Advaita is distant. It is not part of the space-time. I don't know where it is. If we go back to the Gurdjieff state, which is to disidentify from the human functions. So the way I do it is, it's like I move the body, but I move it from a distance. In other words, that it's like an instinct inside maybe my heart is causing the body to move, or my arms to move, right? Which means I'm not moving my arms as a normal human being does. A normal human being thinks his arms are in his arms, and I'm not doing that. I'm like a point of light inside the human machine, and with a slight flick of instinct located perhaps in the heart or underneath it, the body begins to move, right? And I have this strange, not strange, it's a very clear sense that I am separate from the body, and a kind of a wish is commanding the body to move. Now that Gurdjieff state, it seems to me the way it's taught, is maintained through opposition. In other words, be ever watchful, as it says in the Bible, be ever watchful. Keep the wicks of your lamps ready. There's some parable about that. And often the Gurdjieff students refer to the stories in the New Testament, and they imply that the sense of watchfulness in the New Testament is this kind of disidentification from the body mind, from the human functions, and to watch them carefully so that they don't re-engage in an unconscious flow. Fourth way, the historical fourth way teachers talk like that. They refer to the Bible and the sense of watchfulness that is repeated in the New Testament frequently, and they imply that what it is to watch the human functions and maintain this distance, inner separation. So it's a kind of state that is maintained forcefully through watchfulness. Now, the interesting thing is, if I then sort of turn around inside and try to become intimate with the inside of that state, with the point of light, a sense of intimacy, I feel very clearly it going straight into the solar plexus, which is where that state is. For me, that point is it's somewhere like where, if you go from the heart, meaning the heart chakra area, between the nipples, if you go down about 3 or 4 inches, just where the rib cage is parting, it's just there where the rib cage parts. Yeah, I think it's actually just above the rib cage, so it does not, that point is not in the open space where the rib cage parts. It's on the last, it's on the center line, so you go down from the heart about 3 or 4 inches. That's where it feels to me to be. It may not be exact, but it can be felt. And you feel that when, so the first thing is in a separation, to become aware of the human functions. So you're separated, you're inside, and then you turn around, you move in towards the point of light inside, become intimate with it, boom, solar plexus. That is what Gurdjieff's tradition is all about. Now the interesting, okay, so if we go back to the Advaita realization, which is in the head, not in the face, but behind the face. It's the head without the face, because the face has got a lot of personality functions in it. So let's just forget about the face and rest backwards into the head. That Advaita state is it's very, very different from the Gurdjieff state, because it just doesn't include the world. It's very interesting. Now, what else was maybe interesting to try and integrate both together? The problem with the way Gurdjieff's tradition teaches his state is that he teaches constantly with opposition. For instance, he teaches the playing a role, which basically means you maintain the inner separation whilst you allow the human functions to carry out the same characteristics as they would do if you were unconsciously identified. In other words, you appear the same to your friends and so on, whilst maintaining the inner separation.